Hey guys, this is Gus. Welcome back to my channel. Now, if you haven't seen my first video, be sure to check that out. But basically, my wife and I took delivery of a brand new Tesla Model Y recently, and I just kind of wanted to document some of my experiences with it. Now, unfortunately, as the title of this video suggests, we already had two problems with the car that both ended up resulting in Tesla service center visits within the first week of ownership. So keep watching if you want to find out what the problems were and what happened. By the way, wear a mask, save a life. Keep wearing masks during the pandemic, guys. So let me just pull this up here real quick. One thing that's nice about the Tesla app is that it shows you basically your entire service history. And so I have my service history pulled up in the app. You can also make service appointments and call for roadside assistance from within the app itself. So getting service is actually pretty straightforward. Now, as far as the experience you might have with service or the wait times you might have, that's a different story depending on where you live. But anyway, as you can see here, we picked up the car on July 26th, and we've already had two visits to the service center, one on August 3rd and another one the very next day on August 4th. So what happened? Well, I will say that both of these were relatively minor issues that ended up being resolved very quickly, both in under an hour or so. One, I would say, was Tesla's fault. The other was actually not Tesla's fault and could have happened with any vehicle. But there is something that Tesla's doing that makes the whole process a little bit annoying, and I will get into that. So, the first problem that we had was that we couldn't charge the vehicle. Now that sounds pretty bad, honestly, with Teslas being fully electric and all. So the problem we had was actually with our charging adapter. It wasn't with the car itself. So this is honestly something that I should have discovered a lot sooner than I did. I should have tried to plug in the charging adapter before we even left the service center on the day that we picked up the vehicle. But we were just kind of so excited and eager to go home that it was something that we just kind of overlooked. Also, I should have tried to charge the car at home way before I did. But basically what happens is that you pick up the car from Tesla with a full battery, and we actually ended up driving it for 3 or 4 days without needing to charge it at all. And then I didn't try to charge it until like the 4th day and discovered that I couldn't charge it. So I'm gonna pull up a picture of the charging port on the car itself, and you can see it here. But basically, that's what the inside of the charging port looks like. You have these recesses and these pins, and the charging adapter itself is a very snug fit into the port. There is also a little tab, which you might be able to see here at the bottom of the charging port. And this actually locks into an indentation at the bottom of the charging adapter to lock it into place during charging. And what this does is it also prevents anybody, it ensures that both ends are making good contact, but it also prevents anybody from just unplugging your car while it's charging, especially if you're charging in public. It kind of locks it in place, and unless you're next to the car with the key or your phone, somebody can't just unplug your car. But needless to say, if you can't fully seat the plug into the socket, it won't charge. And so you can see here, there's a plug, there's the indentation at the bottom of the plug, and when you plug it in, it has to fully seat. It locks into place, and it negotiates for a couple of seconds, and then it turns green. Now in this case, it's already fully charged, so it's solid green, but otherwise it would turn a blinking green to start charging. And this is a very tight fit. Now, what happened was that the charging adapter that came with our car looked like this. And I'm gonna pull it up on the screen here. And so basically, you can see that this bit here, which I'm gonna try to show, it wasn't lining up with one of the pins in the charging port of the car itself. So it wasn't able to seat properly. And so then what happens is, you know, the little locking mechanism can't lock. And so you just hear the little solenoid click and click and click over and over again, trying to lock it in. It doesn't lock in, and the car gives up after a couple of tries, and it won't charge. And you can use a lot of force to try to, and I did try to push it in pretty hard, and it just wouldn't go in. And this is not something that requires a lot of force to get in. I also tried to wiggle it around to see if there was some way I could get it to seat on the pin, and it just wasn't doing it, because again, this is a very tight fit with very tight tolerances. So we could not plug in the car to charge it. So this was a big issue. Now, you know, in a pinch, we could have driven it to a public charging station or a Tesla supercharger, and topped off the car. So the car was perfectly fine. It was drivable, it was usable, everything was fine. It was just a real inconvenience that our mobile charger didn't work. So that's what this appointment on August 3rd was. You know, I actually didn't make an appointment. I called Tesla, and I also tried to make an appointment from within the app. And basically, the earliest available appointment was, I think, 2 weeks out. And that didn't seem acceptable to me. Also, it seemed like a pretty minor issue, and also this was a brand new car, you know. So I actually just ended up driving back to the service center to do kind of a walk-in appointment. And that process was actually, you know, surprisingly quick. A very nice customer service rep from the Dallas Service Center basically came out. So these days during the pandemic, you go to the service center, you check in remotely or online via your phone, and then you actually sit in your car and wait. And then they call you and they ask you what the problem is, and you describe it to them, and then they come out, they send somebody out to take a look at your car. So you fill in all the information. I'm here for a walk-in appointment. You sit in your car and wait, and actually they called me back within like 5 minutes. I didn't know how long it was going to take, but it was very quick. I told him the problem. He came out, he took one look at this charging adapter, and he said, yeah, I can see that's not going to work. And what's interesting is that he told me that the day before I brought my car in for this problem, he had another customer come in who had also just taken delivery of a Model Y, who had the exact same problem. And so he was saying that he thinks recently there may have been kind of a defective batch of these Tesla mobile chargers going out, because a lot of people or at least more than me, more than one person, was having this exact same issue. So basically, he took my mobile charger, he went back inside, came back out 5 minutes later with a brand new mobile charger. We plugged it in, we tested it, it worked. There no questions asked, obviously. No fee for the service, even though Tesla generates a service appointment and an invoice for you. And that was that. We got the problem taken care of in, I would say, less than 20 minutes total. So that was very quick. And while I think Tesla probably should have tested all of these things and make sure the charging adapter they give you fits the car and all of that from the factory, I was very pleased with this service appointment. Now, the second problem we had happened the next day. By the way, we took the car home, it charged fine, everything worked perfectly, everything was good. Now, the next day, unfortunately, we woke up and one of the tires was flat. So that was kind of a bummer. Now, obviously, a flat tire can happen to any vehicle. This is by no way Tesla's fault. Road hazards, road debris, things happen. And I don't know when it actually happened. Now, this was on the rear passenger side tire. And when I went to inspect the tire, I could actually see there was a piece of like a metal debris that was stuck into the tread, and it was leaking air. Now, Tesla recommends that the tires are inflated to 42 psi cold, I think, front and rear. Anyway, the flat tire, it wasn't completely flat. It could hold, it was at like 20 psi or so, and I could actually pump it up to about 30 psi. It wouldn't go higher than that. And then over the course of an hour or two, it would slowly leak back to like 20 psi. But it wouldn't go completely flat. So this was quite a bummer. And now here's an annoying thing about Tesla, and not just Tesla. A lot of car manufacturers are doing this nowadays, is that you don't get a spare wheel and tire with your car. My Ford Mustang, which has much less storage space than the Tesla, you get a full-sized spare wheel and tire. But a lot of newer cars just don't give you this. And instead, the car manufacturers either give you like fix-a-flat kits, or you have to rely on roadside assistance. And, that's, in my opinion, that's just not good enough. Those fix-a-flat kits, they can't repair all types of tire damage. There are some types of tire damage, especially if you have damage in the sidewall, that just simply can't be repaired. And it would be dangerous to try to attempt to repair with a fix-a-flat kit and then try to drive on it. Or, you might have a situation where you hit a pothole really hard and you actually damage the wheel, you have a crack in it or something. In those cases, the fix-a-flat kits are totally useless. I've also heard of situations where using a fix-a-flat kit can kind of mess up the tire, basically, in the long run, making it unrepairable, or, mess up with the tire pressure monitoring sensors. So I really don't think those kits, which are becoming increasingly popular these days, are a viable solution to an actual wheel and tire, like a spare one that you can put on your car in an emergency. But anyway, Tesla sells one of these kits. It doesn't even come with the car. You have to buy it separately from their website. But you can also buy your own on Amazon or wherever. Anyway, because the tire was not totally flat and could hold up to 30 psi, I felt comfortable driving on it for a short distance, and I actually drove it down to our local discount tire, which was very close by. It was less than 2 miles away, for them to take a look at. Now, I've had really good experiences at Discount Tire in the past. They offer free tire repair if it's repairable, even if you didn't purchase the tire from them in the first place. So I think that's a really good service that they offer. And they've actually repaired one of my tires for free before that I didn't purchase from them. So we go to Discount Tire. I show the guy, the damage, and he looked at it and he said, it looks like it could be potentially repairable, but we don't know until we take it off and take a look, which is fair enough. And if it's not repairable, then you'll have to purchase a new tire. Basically, if it wasn't repairable, they were not going to put the tire back on the wheel and allow you to drive off their lot because it's a liability issue. You would have to purchase a new tire at that point. Or if you had a spare wheel and tire, you could put on your spare. All of that is, absolutely understandable. It's fair enough. The problem is, we didn't have a spare wheel, and they did not have the Tesla OEM, 19-inch Gemini wheel tire in stock. The OEM tire for the 19-inch Gemini wheel is a Continental Pro Contact tire, I think. I'll put it up here somewhere. Anyway, they did not have it in stock. And so we had a situation where if they took our tire off to look and see if it's repairable or not, and it turned out it wasn't repairable, they would not be able to sell us the OEM tire as a replacement. And so you only have like two options at that point. One is they could order the OEM tire and wait for it to come in. In the meantime, you can't drive your car. The other option is you could purchase another brand of tire of the same size and characteristics, which probably would have worked okay. But mixing tires is not recommended. There's some debate on when you can do it and when you can't. But different manufacturers' tires are slightly different. They have different tread patterns. They might wear differently. So even if it's the same size and the same rating and all of that, it's still a different tire than the other three tires that you've got. So it's not recommended. So I thought that was kind of a bummer, and that was, very unfortunate. So we ended up leaving Discount Tire and we went to the Tesla service center instead. And ultimately the reason we went to the Tesla service center for a tire issue is because, unlike Discount Tire, Tesla did have this OEM tire in stock in case the damage was not repairable. And we wanted to stick with the OEM tires. It just didn't make sense to replace more than one tire. The car was brand new. It was like 6 days old. All the tires were brand new. And actually the guy at Discount Tire called and checked with their local warehouses, and nobody had it in stock. So we went back to the Tesla service center. Again, luckily the car was drivable. And I actually had the exact same service representative from the day before, and he was very surprised to see me. Again, it was very quick. He came out within 5 minutes. We took a look at the issue, and he told me, it looks like it might be repairable. It might not be. We won't know. He told me it's the exact same thing that Discount Tire had told me. The only difference is if it wasn't repairable, the Tesla service center could put a new tire on for me. That was the OEM tire. They did have it. The quote for that was about $450 for a new tire. That's expensive. And also, unlike Discount Tire, Tesla Service Center, while they will repair your tire, they don't do it for free. They will charge you a labor fee. Well, long story short, we ended up letting them take a look. It ended up being repairable. And so they repaired it, and the cost of the repair was, I think it came down to $87, which is still pretty expensive for a tire patch. But, it was better than buying a a brand new tire to replace a tire that's only 6 days old. So, so those were the two experiences that we had at the Tesla service center. Both times we were in and out very quickly, and I had no problems with the service that we received. It was just unfortunate that on a brand new car, we had to go twice. And again, I want to reiterate, the first one was kind of Tesla's problem. The second time really wasn't Tesla's fault. I do think, though, that we could, if Tesla had included a spare tire with their cars, we could have gotten it repaired at Discount Tire, essentially for free. So that was a bit of a bummer. There are some aftermarket companies, I think, that will sell you a spare wheel and tire for your Tesla, and that's definitely something that I'm going to be looking into. Also, just one last note. Unlike some dealerships and tire stores, Tesla does not offer tire hazard warranty. So if you want that, you would have to purchase a third party or aftermarket one. And I'm thinking that might be a good idea, because replacing these tires out of pocket, if it came to that, would be very expensive, and road hazards are very unpredictable. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it a little bit helpful as far as my experiences with Tesla service. I feel like I've rambled on for long enough. If you like the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to upload more videos in the future about our experiences with our Model Y. Thanks for watching.